appears as if we are live now on. Excellent. Okay. So let's get rocking and rolling then. I'm working off of 2 screens today, so it's a little bit different than what we normally do. So anyway, hey, this is Dennis Wilborn, the Active Trend Trader. I want to welcome you to the last and final How to Make Money Trading Stocks and Options plus Trading Tips. Thank you very much for joining us on YouTube today. We are not basically doing, I'm trying out a couple of different venues and a couple of different opportunities. Of course, you are probably aware that we are on, we have switched over and we are also doing live sessions on Instagram. Those are 3 times a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 12 noon Pacific time. But we can talk more about that towards the end. Today's session, we want to jump into that. So let's get ready to rumble and jump on over to what we're doing next. Let's shrink that guy down. One of the reasons why I wanted to switch over and utilize YouTube is because, one, I can get a better picture and basically a higher quality broadcast from a program called OBS that I'm utilizing to do this broadcast. If you would, if you have any comments, please put them in the chat. I will go back and look at the comments at the end and try to get to those. I think perhaps my son or my wife is also online that can help me out answering those. So remember, what we're trying to do with active trend trading is we just, don't just survive, thrive in any market. We have thrived really well in 2020. What are we looking for? What are we looking for in 2022? Well, one, active trend trading is not going to change. We are going to basically continue to provide a clear and simple system designed to maximize profits and minimize losses, aimed at people who are so busy that they do not have time to spend watching the computer screen all day long. We've got a couple of really great offerings with our top 5 and our other services that we offer. But today we're going to cover one, the session that we do for the How to Make Money Trading Stocks and Option every Friday, 11 a.m. Pacific. We spend about 15 to 20 minutes going over what? Market index review. Then I will get into a master trading tip. Got a really good one for you today after the market review. And then last, after that, I will be covering a couple of stock picks. I have 2 stock picks today. If I have one that can work really well for somebody who is trading a smaller account. When I say smaller, I'm talking probably, $2,000, anywhere from $10,000 to $2,000, where you want to be trading the stocks and ETFs. You don't want to be necessarily trading the individual options yet. And then I've got another one that could be setting up a stock that you're very familiar with, but we'll wait till we get to that. So what are we looking at doing right this moment? Of course, what we do with active trend trading is for trading purposes only. We trade, everybody should trade their own personal capital. And be careful, paper trade it before, so that you can conserve it. So let's take a look at the charts first for, what do I have? There's the Qs, and let's jump over here to the spider. S&P. I've been talking about this all week long. The S&P, okay, we are still about 2 hours away from the close. And you can see where with S&P, what has it done? It gapped up on Monday. That's that candlestick right there. Let's blow it up just a taste. So we gapped up on Monday, and it's held the breakout. Now we broke out about this past high, and that failed. So we're working on a bearish engulfing on Tuesday, Wednesday an inside day, Thursday a little spinning top. It is still holding above the 8-day moving average. Now, if this rolls up and basically rolls over next week, watch for it to take out the 8. I would anticipate a potential rebound area down here about the $368 level, which is just at or above the 20-day moving average. As you can see, everything looks good here. On the weekly chart, what are we looking at? Just, it's kind of a nothing week. I mean, that literally is, let's see, we opened the week at 371.74, and we currently are at 371.63. That is almost a perfect spinning top doji, which is basically a signal of just indecision, which kind of goes with the way the market should end up 2020 probably. Qs. I like the Qs better than, of course, the S&P. Those who have been following us for a week, you know that is, how, that you know that's my story. Why do I like the Qs and IWM better? Simply because I think it provides us more trading opportunities and also better patterns. That's just, that's again, and also when you look at the NASDAQ as far as performance for the year, way out ahead of the S&P, and the IWM, again, one of those towards the end of the year, best performer. So what do we got going on here? We had again, also Monday, a gap up above the highs from last week. So we did break out to a new high. It is holding on to that. If we get a close back, here's the pattern I see happening here. Now, again, this is purely Dennis Wilborn's opinion. But here's a pattern that I kind of see shaping up here. I'm seeing that as potentially being an abandoned baby, or not abandoned baby, but an island top. Now, if we break back down below, we gap down on Monday and doesn't refill it, then we've got an island top going on that could set us up for a nice pullback. Where would we anticipate it pulling back to? Well, to at least the uptrend line, or the breakout level down here at the $308 level. As we see on the weekly chart, we've got negative divergence on the TSI. We've got just kind of no divergence, but kind of a double top thing going on market forecast. And so that's what, and so what am I looking at happening is, again, nothing is saying sell me. It is just basically saying, hey, I'm looking for a pullback. This week has been very quiet. It had a little bit of excitement with the supposed stimulus. I don't know what your opinion on the stimulus is. That's one thing. If down in your stimulus, if in the comments, just tell me you think if the stimulus is a good thing or a bad thing, and now, don't be greedy either, just because, hey, you're going to get yours. Anyway, okay, IWM. IWM broke down below the 8, held this uptrend line, as we see. However, that's got some really nice downside. I mean, this could be a potential setup for some more downside. Just project out. I'm looking at 191 to the downside, or even look to your left, 187. That would be right above the 84 day moving average, and yeah, that would be a downside trigger that would work out pretty good. We have a bearish reversal in hand, bearish engulfing, downside break, testing back into the middle third, which is a classic move for something that is going to basically go on and provide an additional downside move. On the weekly charts, not quite a dark cloud cover on the from last week's candlestick, but clearly shows that it's red. It is we could if it works down towards today that 194 level, it could provide us a what's called a dark cloud cover, which is a bearish reversal signal on the weekly chart. And a couple of things to be looking for are TSI, weekly chart, turning over. Market forecast, weekly chart, turning over. TSI, daily chart, has already turned over. Market forecast, daily chart, has already turned over. So if that is the case, we want to go back to price action. And if price action confirms, then, again, it may accelerate a little bit of the downturn here. And again, it could drop all the way here down to 184. and that's about a $12 drop. I'll be looking at trading that either one or two ways. I will be looking at trading TNA or or TZA for the leverage ETFs, and or I'll be looking at doing some kind of a spread on for an option trade. Once you have a pattern like this set up, it gives you a nice opportunity to say, okay, I think it's going to fall another $3 or $4. You can do a $2 credit or debit spread in the money and let it come to you, or a debit spread out of the money, a credit spread in the money, and then I've got a couple of questions this week from people who were saying, hey, how long, they're buying these debit spreads and credit spreads that are 2-3 months out. The problem with that is the theta is so high on it that even if it goes in their favor for for 2 or 3 weeks, the theta is so high it doesn't take value off of the option spread at all, very much at all, or it doesn't increase in value very much if you're in a debit situation. So one of the things to be aware of is when you take an opportunity like that is the time. Instead of doing 3 or 4 months out, bring it back to 2 or 3 weeks, and that way theta isn't as much of an enemy. And the other thing you can do, and this is a bonus tip for today, is rather than thinking about getting the whole 100% of the potential profit, be happy with 40%. Take part of the position off. That way, if you take part of the position off at 40 or 50%, you can then hold the rest of the position and let time work in your favor and have the trade be more or less break even at that point. So there's a little tip for you. So that's what I've got going on IWM. Let's jump over, and what's the tip for today? Well, the tip for today is very simple. Eliminate is basically just look as you kind of hone in on your trading this weekend. It's time to think about, okay, what do I want to happen in 2021? Learn from your lessons in 2020. And here are 3 of the main reasons traders lose money in the market. Is 1, they trade without stops. If you're guilty of that, well, I have one word of encouragement for you. Stop it. 2, trading strategies without a system. I know a lot of people who will trade basically option strategies. However, they're not connected to a system, so they don't have any stop losses, they don't have any targets, they don't pre-plan the trade very well, and therefore, when the trade goes against them, they stand there or sit there like deer in the headlights going, well, what do I do now? Again, get back. Develop a system that can trade the strategy. 2, 3 is basically trading with no triggers, which is kind of related to number 2. But what I find is it's basically entering too early and exiting too late, or entering too late and exiting too early. If you're trading a system with strong rules that you will follow, you can avoid that situation. And I'll ask you a question. Please drop a comment down on this. What trading habit is messing up your profits? You profits? Oh, I gotta love that. Let's fix that. That's one of the things, like when we're doing these things live, it is so much fun to do them live, but it's a little bit like, live TV way back in the day. So here we go. Let your profits. And so drop that answer down in your into the comment section. And so if you want to start a new profitable habits in 2021, then join us at Active Trend Trading. DM me or drop me a note and say, hey, Dennis, how do I get involved? I want to be part of the Active Trend Trading team because you guys have been doing a bang-up job. Well, how much of a bang-up job have we been doing? Well, I'm really pleased with where we're sitting active trend trading wise. The cumulative on it is just up about 70% for the year. That includes two different strategies, or strategy 1 or strategy 2. Strategy 1 is a stock option, stock and ETF, and top 5 strategy. Strategy 2 is an option strategy. And basically, how are we doing compared to the Dow, the S&P, and the Russell and the NASDAQ? NASDAQ up very nicely. Russell up about 18%, a little bit better than S&P. Russell did that almost all in the last quarter of the year, which is very seasonal about the Russell, and it does that again and again and again and again. So that's what we've got going. We're up, we'll see if we finish up at that point. Now, this is both closed and open, so my closed position, I was sitting about 68%, because I'm not walking into the new year with a lot of open positions, but we will transition into the new year over this weekend. We'll be doing, again, a lot of the same trades. And so, hey, you want to make your weekly trading plan? And this is where part of the routine starts from, folks, is we put out a top 5 list along with everything you need to be able to enter conditional orders. We tell you what we're trading, what I'm trading, where I'm getting in, where I'm getting out, what strategy I'm using, and what to expect. Here's a trade that we did earlier in the year on Zitto. We've traded multiple times on this. We've had 33 different stocks we've traded. We had 25 winning stocks. We had 8 losing, so about 75% win-loss ratio, and gained about 50% on this strategy itself. So if you want information about that, you can jump over to Active Trend Trading, and there's and so I don't know if Brandon's online with me or not, but Brandon can give you a link on where to link in with that. We encourage you, engage your autopilot. Once you put in the trades, it really seriously is like putting the rest of the trade on fire and forget, and it will take you out if it hits your stop loss. It will take you out if you hit your profits. And there's some minor course corrections during the week, but it's and the people who are trading this particular service, it's taking them about an hour on Saturday or Sunday to put their trades in, and then probably about a half hour during the week to management. So if you manage the trades, if you are a busy person, you want to find out about this. So what else we got going on here? Oh, before I forget, how about the stocks that we're talking about? Okay, let's run right over and get back up. I'm looking at a couple of stocks. One is if you're trading a smaller account, you can jump on or this is one of the entities that we've been looking at. Because when I stand up my watch list of things we're following, I do keep in mind people who are trading smaller accounts. And this came to light to me this week. But I wanted to do some excuse me, some measurements on this. And what was happening with, and I'll just lay in a couple of lines here. What was happening with ZYXY is that it kept coming down here and hitting at about 13 bucks. Okay, so I'm going to put that there about 13 bucks. Close enough. And then it run up here and hit about 14 bucks. And so I'm going to draw that in. And so 14.11. So it did this after it went through the first cycle, then it started going through it again. So it did 1 there, close there, not going to count that one, 2, 3, 4, actually that is, about 4 to 5 times. What did you, that's a 7.5% move. It did that in a 46-day period. So if you're looking at the potential of compounding your trading account, think about it. If you had a $1,000 account, you compounded that, 4 to 5 times, and you picked up the compounded effect on 7.5%. If you compounded it 5 times, would be 43.56%, and that's just buying stocks. And it would be one of those where you put in an order to buy it down here and put it in order, conditional order, that if you don't know how to do conditional orders, you can learn how at Active Trend Trading, and you would trigger out there at about 14 bucks. So if you're interested in that kind of, so ZYXI looks like it's going to continue on with that as it's doing this base. So as we're waiting for it to break out of this base, there's not a darn reason why we don't pick up some additional, profits along the way. Because as I said, I'm looking at 2021 being a year we are going to focus in the active trend trading members we're going to focus on something very simple. We're going to focus on wealth building. Because, if we will focus a year or 2 years or 3 years, depending on what size your account is to start with, on wealth building, you will learn how to not only do your trades properly, but at the same time be able to generate, either income and or continue growing your wealth, which, without having any dependency on what the heck the government's doing. So, that's my objective here. Hey, PayPal's the other one I wanted to take a look at. PayPal's got a couple of things going on. It has earnings coming up on. It has earnings coming up on 127 after the market, so that's towards the end of January. What it's doing right now, which I find very interesting, is it is coming down and kind of putting a little flagpole. Those are two big sell-off. We had a bearish engulfing here, another bearish engulfing, and then we've come down, and now we've driven sideways. And so then we expect, if this is a bearish flag, it to break out the bottom. If it does, let me get rid of those drawings. I went ahead and drew in, the way you measure your downside target on a flag is I take from this high here to these lows, and then once it breaks the lows, then I extend down the same level. So that puts us down at about $215. Now, is it going to go there before or after earnings? I really don't know at this point. It may just say, hey, you know what? I've gone as far as I want to go because it's running into some nice support right there at the 230 level. What I will do is just, watch this. I do fibs all the time. I'm not trying to complicate this, but if I want to know with the Fibonacci's, where might the Fibonacci's come into play? And I'll be darned. There's the 50% retracement, 225. Write that down. The next one, the 618 retracement, 221. Write that down. And the 38% retracement, which is right where it's at right now, 229. So I'll be watching this over the weekend to see if, in fact, it is a potential trade that could be setting up. But there's where I expect to trigger in. So as we roll out of today, I just want to remind you, simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. Why complicate? So 2021 is a year for rebooting and wealth building. If you want to join us in this journey, I encourage you, get registered with us, even if it's just for the free membership of Active Trend Trading. You will benefit dramatically for it because I do put out a free watch list on that every weekend. And so remember, keep the A growing, trade well and prosper. We're not doing the final hour today, but from my home to you, aloha, God bless, and keep sharpening the saw. Subscribe to us on YouTube and then hit the bell to be notified. Hey, I'm going to go over here and see. Does anybody have any questions? Hey, Happy New Year, Jeff. So, and since this is the last day of the year, anybody want me to review any stock? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Okay, well then if that's the case, again, if you have not subscribed, hit the subscribe. It's a little red tab, and hit the bell, and join us on YouTube. I'm going to be looking at doing the YouTube how to make money trading stocks and options and stocks and options. The GDX. Okay. Hey, David. Wow. Cool. Let's take a look at GDX real quick. And for those who want to join me on Instagram, I also will be glad to, I'll be glad to take a look at anything. Now, GDX is, what is GDX? GDX is, the gold miners. Okay, cool. What's happening with the gold miners? David, I tell you, okay, one, we're in a downtrend. You know, that is very, very clear. Across here. Now, as long as that line is intact, we're in a downtrend. What it looks like we're doing right now is putting in a little bit of a bear flag back up into the moving averages. And if we break below, I would say if we break below just this line here, or take out the 35.59 level, we're probably looking to head on down, retest back down around these lows. And again, as you know, we removed GDX or the gold from what we're what we're looking at ETF wise. I don't know how slow, or I'll give it time for the drawings to catch up. I don't think it's quite instantaneous, but that's what I'm looking at here. This is a big this low right here. It came down and really did kind of like a hard move down. We don't know if that's a capitulation move yet or not, but it could be. And oftentimes if you, follow, and the guy's name escapes my mind for a second, but he would watch these consolidation patterns. As soon as it would come down and hit a strong low that was below the other lows, that was a sign to him that perhaps price action was going to start back up to the upside. But at this time, we're still looking at potential, something to the downside. Cool. Anything else, guys? Okay, then I'm going to basically wrap it up. Sorry I went a little bit longer. I'm learning this new. Please let me know what you think about this venue. I will get better at using it and learning how to use it. So until next time, have an absolutely fantastic New Year's. We will get back to our regular schedule next week. Simply because why? I'll be back in Hawaii. We've had a great time with Brandon and his wife and our 2 grandchildren here in Meridian, Idaho. But you know what? This island, boy, is cold. That's why I got a sweater on. I'm ready to head back to the islands So aloha, guys. See you later.